Brought to you by stationhousecoffee.com and inspireddisorder.com/music.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Tread, a documentary on Netflix about the events that happened, what was it, 2004, 2005, somewhere around there, in a small town just outside of Denver, Colorado, where a master welder goes into town, wins an auction for a piece of land that somebody who's, part of the community, one of the good old boys of the community wanted to have. Basically, like, this small town is run by a family for the most part. Like, there's a bunch of members of the family on the board. They're like prominent business owners. They're very involved. They're very like steeped in this family, this small town. So this guy comes from out of town, wins this piece of land that this other guy wants, and basically gets it's like this high school mentality, right? You get into, like, if you ever like go to a new school, or like you go somewhere where it's a small tight-knit group of people that have kind of lived and existed together for a long time, and you're the outsider coming in. Usually there's like this animosity, this kind of bullying that happens, this kind of fuckery that happens. And it happened. It happened to Marv. Marv, the guy that the documentary circles around. I really like this documentary. About an hour and a half long. It's a mix of Marv's confession tape. He made a cassette tape, kind of chronicling, documenting all of the harassment that he's had to deal with and difficulties he's had trying to get his business running, kind of keep it running in a lot of ways. And then it's mixed with talking head interviews for all the people that are alive. Because Marv, this is spoilers for reality, but Marv's no longer with us, people. But then everybody else from the town is there. So you get their side of the story, and then you also get Marv's side of the story through this cassette tape audio that kind of plays throughout the documentary. And I got to tell you, for the first part of this documentary, I was on Marv's side when he's like explaining how he gets the land, how this brother wanted the land to build or to use or whatever. And then the city starts fucking with him because he's getting fined because he's not hooked up to the sewer system. But then to be able to hook up, they have to go through a property that one of these other family members owns, so they keep getting blocked. So they're basically fucking with him. But then after you kind of get Marv's side and you really start to feel sympathetic about Marv's side, then you start getting the other side of the story about how Marv was suing the city, and that was like, if he just dropped the suit, then they would have made the easement for him to put the plumbing in, to get the sewer system in and all that stuff. So you get a little bit of both sides. I think it falls somewhere in the middle. Marv clearly snaps. He kind of starts having these kind of paranoid delusions about kind of a little bit more conspiracy than needs to be. Like, he starts seeing attacks at him through everything that's going on. But what I think happened after watching this documentary, I think he went in, he got a piece of land from somebody that, they didn't like it, so they started fucking with him, and he fucked back with them by suing the city. And he's the type of guy, it seems like, that likes to bottle things up inside. I relate to that a lot. I let a lot of things bottle up until, they explode. And I think that because his wife didn't know about all of the drama that he was having with the city. So I have a feeling that he was dealing with it outside of the home. And then when he got home, it's like, I don't want to even think about it. I don't even want to, I don't want to bring you into the drama of my world right now. But of course, eventually when you do stuff like that, everything around you crumbles, especially if you break mentally, right? I don't know if Marv had mental problems his whole life, or if these situations are what caused it. I would say maybe a little bit of both, but I think they fucked with him. And I don't think he did himself any favors. Also, uh, suing them and just kind of, I don't know, you like when you get into a situation like that, you almost have to play their game. You have to play along with them. You can't really, especially if you're in a small town or a small organization of people that all know each other and they're all friends. Yeah, you're just not going to be able to. You're going to have to. It's almost like a gang mentality, or like even the mob, right? You have to pay your dues in a lot of ways. And it seems like Marv was a decent guy. I mean, they interviewed some of his friends he would go snowmobiling with, and some of them had the opinion that they were just straight up fucking with him. So I think it was a bit of. I think they were fucking with Marv. They were kind of put him in between a rock and a hard place by like fining him, like just draining him of all kinds of money because he didn't have the proper utility hookups for being a public business. But then also they own property that sat between his business and the kind of pipeline of shit that he needed to hook up to, and the owners of the business who were related to the people in the government of that small town would block him. So he's fucked either way. He was fucked either way, and they fucked with him, and he snapped. And I don't agree with how he snapped, but as somebody that's been in situations like that where people are fucking with you, and like it almost feels like there's no way to remedy the situation. Like I've had definitely fantasies of striking revenge on those people who do nothing but fuck. Like they sit on a perch of invincibility because they like run this town, so they can do whatever they want. It's like billionaires in the world. Like laws don't really apply to billionaires. Like you can literally, like if you have enough money, you can go around and kill people. Like you can kill people and like avoid jail. Like you can avoid a lot of laws. Almost all laws don't apply if you have a certain amount of money. And aside from having a certain amount of money, just having ultimate control over the government you're living, and like the news and stuff like that, like the small newspaper. When there's like a group of good old boys and you're the outcast, I relate to kind of striking back and getting revenge. And that's what Marv did in this documentary. He got this giant bulldozer and retrofitted it with 30 tons of concrete, steel plates. He put cameras on the outside, and then he just took to the streets. He went and demolished. He targeted all of the businesses and in some cases homes, which I didn't agree with necessarily. I mean, obviously he went too far. Marv snapped and went too far, and clearly, like, they fucked with a mentally ill person, or they encouraged mental illness in Marv with their fuckery. So I didn't feel that bad. I'm sure they are fine. I don't think anybody died. Whatever property loss they had, I'm pretty sure they're fine. I don't, it didn't seem when they were interviewing people anybody was like in destitute. Nobody was homeless or like, really suffered. But he fucked with them, I'm sure. And he did it in a smart way, too. Not only did he fuck with them by building, like, this tank, but he also, like, he eventually sold his property, right? He kind of fucked with them in the best way. He got the money, like, he sold the property for, like, exponentially more money. Like, he bought it for $40,000 and sold it for $400,000 to this family that wanted to expand their concrete business or whatever. So he made a bunch of money on it, but he sent his money to his dad, right, over the years in like $50,000 chunks or whatever. And then his dad put his siblings in the will. So when Marv did the things that he did, they weren't able to collect that money back because of the way he laundered it, I guess, because he gave it to his dad, but then his dad died and left it to his kids in his will. So I guess there's some loophole. So, like, I felt good. I kind of felt like there was some justice in what Marv did, even though I don't agree with how he did it. But it's like, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy, and I enjoyed it. It was kind of cathartic to see. And it's just kind of crazy how many insane things happen in Colorado. I think it has to do with the elevation and also access to, like, firearms. Not that Marv, I mean, he had a big 50 cal mounted in the bulldozer, but like Columbine, one of the first school shootings happened. The Batman shooting happened in Denver. JonBenet Ramsey, that whole thing was in Boulder, which is right outside Denver. Planned Parenthood shooting in like 2015 happened in Colorado Springs. Like there's like a lot of people who are mentally unwell that have access to a lot of firepower in Denver, and it's kind of in that Colorado area, and it's kind of crazy how they're really ahead of the curve when it comes to new just people really destroying things around them when they break. But yeah, check out Tread. It's on Netflix. It's a quick documentary, only an hour and a half, and it flies by, but really well made. The storytelling's really good, and there's a bigger part of me that's on the side of Marv over the business people. But yeah, check it out. Make sure you support our sponsor, StationHouseCoffee.com, and follow Station House Coffee on Instagram to get your small batch, single origin, premium coffee brewed in Vermont, shipped directly to you. Go to StationHouseCoffee.com and order your coffee today and tell them the Ray Taylor Show sent you. Also, get Amazon Music Unlimited for 30 days for free when you use my link, inspireddisorder.com/music. That's 60 million songs available at your fingertips. Stream anywhere on all devices when you get 30 days free of Amazon Music Unlimited by going through my link, inspireddisorder.com/music. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com. Follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!